Hi there, this is Tara at Newport Florist. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a Christmas wreath. Okay, so to start off with, you need a couple tools. You need a clipper, you need some paddle wire, and you need a wreath frame. Additionally, I have a variety of Christmas greens over here cut up into little pieces. Most of the time I cut them into pieces that are like, this is about perfect, like about 5 inches is what I like, but anywhere between 5 and 8 inches. And I have 3 different kinds of greens here. I have some noble fir, I have some cedar, and then I have some Doug fir. And so those are the main types of greens that I'm using. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to make some small bundles of Christmas greens. And then I'm gonna take the paddle wire and I'm gonna wire them onto the wreath frame. So I'm taking in my hand a piece of greenery. Usually I'll do a little bit of cedar in the background and then some noble fir in the front. And then I'll lay it onto the wreath frame like so, okay? Then I'm just, here at the beginning, I'm just gonna take that wire, come around, and then twisty tie it down to the frame, okay? So I've just twisty tied it a couple times. And then I'm gonna wrap it around, and you want it to be nice and tight. Keep your paddle wire like short. Don't let the paddle wire get like way out to here. That's hard. You don't want that to happen because what you're doing here is every time you're gonna circle around, you're really gonna cramp it down tight. And then I'll just do my next piece. So I'll lay a couple pieces down.
That's why I was thinking for my piece.
Bit of noble fir and some Doug fir, and then some cedar in the back. I'm just gonna lay it down and wrap the paddle wire around it a couple times, usually twice. So what I did was I came about 2 inches below where my last section was. And so I'm just gonna kind of repeat this pattern a whole bunch of times. So I've got my bundle. I'm gonna angle this bundle inside. So what I normally do is with my bundles, I'll have one that's straight onto the frame, one that's pointing out, one that's pointing in, straight on, and I just kind of repeat that pattern. So it's like straight out in, straight out in. I'll just do that all the way around the wreath frame. So here we are getting towards the end of the wreath. And so what you want to do here at the end is you lift up the beginning part. So you can kind of zoom in on that. And then you're just going to lay your bundles, like get them as close as you can. The thing is, you'll probably have to leave it a little bit under-greened in this section, but that's okay because that's where you can put your bow. But I'm going to do 1 or 2 more little chunks of greenery in this part. So I'm just like continuing just to lay it down, bundle it around, and then I'm going to lift this up so that these sticks go under this. My bundle, I'm going to lay this one inwards. Around, and then I'll show you how to fix the little part that's kind of empty right there. So then I'll flip it over, and I'm just going to take normally I wouldn't cut wire with clippers, but this clipper has like a little section at the very bottom where you can cut the wire with it. It's a little notch, and then I'll just kind of like loop it through and pull it tight. You can also find the beginning part of your wreath and like twist those two together, but I can't see that right now, so I'll just kind of tuck that wire in there. So now I've hung my wreath on something upright so I can see how all the greens lay. And then once you do that, then you kind of go in and give it a little haircut, and you're gonna see like where you're trying to make a nice circle on the inside. So if you have stuff that's bushing down in the middle, trim that out. And if you have things that are kind of coming out too far, you're going to trim those out too, just so that the wreath has a nice circular shape. And then sometimes your cedar will hang in an awkward way, so I sometimes trim that out too, a little bit. But as you can see, we have a little bit of, we're lacking right here. So what I'll do at this point is I'll take some pieces and I'm gonna cut them and peel the greens off and then just poke them right into the matrix of the other greenery. So like this piece right here, cut it, poke it right in. Okay, so we're just gonna fill up that hole a little bit. So if you have any holes, this is what you can do. You could also use a little hot glue for this part, but mine's pretty tight because of how many greens I put in there, so I don't really need to do that. So I'm going to show you a really easy way to make a bow. So you have your ribbon, and then I'm going to pinch my fingers like this. This is my left hand, and then with my right, I'm just sort of pinching it in there. Then I'll make a loop, pinch it in, make a loop, pinch it in, a loop. I'm going to make 6 loops for this wreath. This will be my last one. Then I'm going to take a piece of floral wire and bend it in half. You could do this ahead of time. Bend it in half. And then I'm just looping it through. See how I have a loop here with my thumb and my index finger? I'm looping it through there and through the other end of the ribbon. Okay. Then I'm going to cut my ribbon. And then right here, what you want to do is pull this down, and then you're going to twisty tie this really nice and tight. And since this is wire edge ribbon, you can fluff it up and make it, poke it through the front. I want to show the back side of it. I'm going to poke my wires. You can see this right here and right here. Okay, so those are the 2 ends of my wire. I'm just going to pull it through tight, twisty tie it again. Okay. And then here's my bow. So I'm just going to sort of fluff it up a little bit. Another thing you can do, this is what I do a lot of times for wreaths, is I've got a beginning bow, and then I'll put some other tufts of ribbon on the sides. So I'll show you that in a second. But, oh, what you can do for your tails is you bend the ribbon in half and you just cut it up. So you get a real cute V shape right there. And then the next thing I'm going to do somewhere, or you can use knives too. So with my pine cones, I'm just going to clip till there's about 3 or 4 inches on the bottom. And then I'm just going to swirl it around in the glue pan. And then put a nice big gob of hot glue. And then just pick a spot for it. So most of the time I'll go wherever I can see like a little bit of kind of natural opening. Sometimes people wire their ornaments in. You can definitely do that instead of using hot glue. Hot glue is just a little bit faster, so that's why I kind of prefer that method. As I'm working on my wreath, I see a spot where there's kind of some emptiness right in here. So I'm just going to take some pieces of fur and just sort of like jam them down in there. I'm stripping off the greens and then just jamming it. And you want to like catch other greens when you put it in there. Especially if you live in a windy area, or you're going to hang it on a windy front porch, you probably want to use some hot glue or really get it down in decorator ornaments. And same thing as the pine cones, I'm just gonna dip them in the glue. Get a nice big gob of glue on there and just poke them in here or there. Okay, so here we go. Here's our finished product. We have an 18-inch wreath frame, and I've put all the greens on it, the balls, the pine cones, the ribbon. Overall, I would say it has about a 24-inch diameter. So thank you so much for watching my video, and hopefully you'll watch more in the future.